Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Stephanie Fisher. I'm a licensed counselor here in the state of Michigan, and I am owner and operator of In Progress Counseling. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to go into that loss experience where whether I'm choosing a change or I have been thrust towards a new chapter in life, there are going to be losses that I experience and that I have to hold, metabolize, process, and move forward with a new understanding. And I'll often use the language as I'm walking with emerging clinicians towards how to navigate grief in session with clients. We'll talk about the processes to help someone hold their grief or co-hold it with a therapist, speak honestly about it, and start to metabolize that this thing has happened. Now, there's a significant difference. This is what I was trying to say before I kind of gridlocked there. There's a significant difference, and this is what I'll say with my counselors in training, where someone is jumping out of a plane versus someone is pushed out of a plane. And I think of change in those ways. Did this person in front of me who's processing change and struggling and needing extra supports, did they jump themselves? Because even that is scary, right? You think of skydiving, you think of adrenaline, and you think of uncertainty, and you think of, hey, I have to do it just right, or there's hard things that might happen. There could be injury, there could be harm that comes to me. I need to rely on the parachute working. If it's a tandem jump, I need to trust this human that's on my back. It's still a somewhat of a high stakes situation. But imagine if you've been pushed out of a plane. There's this change in front of you that you didn't choose, you didn't sign up for, maybe even something was taken from you, or that's the felt sense. There's this, I didn't ask for this relationship to end. I didn't want the loss of this person. I didn't desire for this job opportunity to go away. I didn't sign up for this season of hard. Those are realities where someone might come to this felt sense of being pushed out of a plane, and now they freeze because there's a next chapter. But if that person didn't even sign up for this, it can be really hard to reconcile all the things that have to be worked on to successfully transition and adjust. And part of successful transition and adjustment is the grief work. And saying very, candidly, I didn't sign up for this. I never would have chose this for myself. This is really painful. This is really hard. And in therapy, we have processes to hold that with people, to hold people where they're at currently, and then walk them towards what it might look like taking next steps with volition and agency and choice, understanding though that the disorientation comes from something that's happened where they didn't have a choice and didn't have agency. Even if someone jumps out of the plane and they're signing up for the risk of a transition, it still involves a lot of physiology and psychology and, being, having to work hard to do things in ways that are sequentially helpful and that have the payoff that you want. When you're pushed out of the plane, or that's the felt sense, that's the felt experience, it can be incredibly disorienting. It can be a reason why someone might gridlock. And I've had it plenty of times where someone comes to me 2 or 3 years after some sort of blunt force impact to their life, and they say, like, I think I'm ready to start working on it, but I've been frozen for several years because I didn't ask for that relationship to end. I didn't ask for that loss. I opened my heart up to this thing, and then this thing went away, whatever it is, that position, that relationship, that hope, that dream. And there is something just so painful about losing something and not being the one who said, hey, I'm going to move it along, or I'm going to move on, or I'm going to take next steps here. There's something really quite tremendously painful about that. And so when someone comes to that point of readiness to say, Steph, can you hold this with me? Can you grieve this with me? We can do that. And it makes a lot of sense in transitions that there's a lot of grief work that goes on as well, because there are changes we sign up for that are still hard. There's also changes we never signed up for. And there's a lot of pain when that happens.